We're live. Hey everyone, welcome to the end of the year Oasis Town Hall. We haven't done a town hall in a while, so I'm really happy to see everyone here. Thank you for joining. I hope you'll have fun with us. 2025, I would say, was not a super loud year. It was a building year, a year where a lot of important things happened quietly under the surface. And today is about surfacing those things. So we'll start with a bigger picture, then move into personal highlights, ecosystem progress, investments, and where we're heading strategically. And we'll make sure we'll leave space for questions that you share through the community channels Google form. Chat is open as well, so if time permits, we'll try to answer live questions too. But yeah, let's have some fun. And to kick us off, I want to invite on stage the man, the myth, the legend, the driving force behind Oasis, our founder, Jerne Kos.
Hey, thank you, Minya, for hosting this. Yeah, we haven't had this in a while. And yeah, welcome everyone to this year's town hall. So yeah, as you said, 2025. Well, so yeah, in 2025, we made a lot of progress, both in terms of shipping actually usable technology and in also better clarifying where we're going next. So one of the things was well, we launched Raffle, which was a major milestone in moving Oasis beyond just a single chain and more towards verifiable confidential compute that works where users and developers already are. We also, beyond technology, we also deepened key partnerships and conversations across the ecosystem, and that's especially across AI, DeFi, Ethereum, and also contributing to emerging standards, like, for example, X402 for payments and ERC 8004, which both, I think, is a strong validation that this direction resonates with people. And we'll talk more about all this in a bit. Also, as you hinted a bit, we launched our strategic investment arm to stay close to the builders, to learn faster from the market and help shape the ecosystem we want to enable. Of course, we also know that not everything was perfect, and that's because building something new always comes with unknown complexity, but we're ending the year more confident and aligned heading into 2026. And with that in mind, next year, we're expanding our scope and launching new initiatives, including consumer-facing products alongside the infrastructure. So far, we've been focused a lot on building core infrastructure, and the plan for next year is to actually prove what our technology can enable and build some more consumer-facing products. And I think Matej will talk about this shortly. So Oasis is becoming the verifiable compute layer for any developer, any dApp on any chain. And the exciting roadmap ahead is focused on stronger developer experience and concrete real-world use cases, while of course maintaining strong security, as has been the track record for Oasis over the past few years. And of course, none of this happens without the team and the community. So I'll take this moment to thank you all for the trust, the work, and for sticking with us. And with these thoughts, it's back to you, Minya.
Thank you very much, Erne. And I know everybody has a lot of questions. We'll dive into everything, but as Erne said, we've been building, we've been securing a lot of things. 2026 is going to be even more exciting. But I just have one quick question for you, Erne. If somebody joins Oasis, they don't know anything about us. If they've been following us for a couple of years and they look at Oasis in 2026, what do you hope they immediately see as changed in our approach?
Yeah, I think coming more to users would be like the major change. Like so far, as I mentioned, it's like we've been, as you said in the beginning, building in the the shadows, in the background, right? Doing infrastructure, which of course is nice, as an engineering challenge and all. But in the end, it's as I've said many times in the past, like it's actually products that people love to use and want to use, and are enabled through our core technology that we've already built. So that part is already covered, and so yeah, next year we should see a lot of exciting products.
I'm excited, and I know how much you and our engineering team care about good UX and about users. So I'm excited for what's about to come. But yeah, thank you, Ernest. Thank you for joining us. I know you're a busy man. So I would like to move on to team to personal highlights. And of course, I would kick things off with the community side of things. And as I said, 2025 has been a somewhat defining year for us because we've always known that privacy is the next big frontier in Web3. And this year, the data showed the world that it's true, and the world is starting to agree with us. So today, I want to share some highlights of what we built together over the past few months. And of course, starting with a global footprint, because our community isn't just growing, it's exploding in key regions. Um, I think we've seen record-breaking expansions across 12 or 13 regional channels. But I want to give a special shout out to our Vietnam community, which grew by over 220%, and Indonesia followed close at around 200%. So in total, if I remember correctly, 8 out of 13 regional channels more than double their member base this year. And I think this isn't just noise. It's a clear sign that the message of privacy is resonating globally. And this is from Asia to Europe to America, so all over the place. But of course, volume is only half the story. We don't just want a large community. We want an educated and engaged one. And I'm going to mention a project that's very dear to me that I started, I think, 2 years ago, which is the Oasis Academy. And I think it's become quite a standard because this year alone, we've welcomed over 130,000 or 140,000 students, new students who have completed the list of courses on the Academy. We have over 80 or 90 courses so far, and bringing our total views to over 2.1 million. So I would say those are great numbers for a Web3 Academy. And once people join, they're actually staying because on Discord, for example, our new member retention rate grew over 52%. And we've kind of evolved in a true retention hub through our weekly events, which are we host trivia nights, gaming sessions, poker nights. So feel free to join our Discord. You'll have a lot of fun there, but also deep technical discussions because, as I said, we are trying to educate our community, and I would say we're succeeding. And our Reddit community has also grown a lot this year, proving that Oasis is a home to many. And I also want to highlight another project that's dear to me, the Privacy Now podcast, which I had a lot of fun with, and I am gonna have him on more fun next year. I'm preparing some new specials, but with only 10 episodes in, we had over 10 million impressions. And we are bringing the smartest minds in the industry to talk about why privacy matters. And I think the world is clearly listening. And I do want to talk about the North Star of everything we do, developer and on-chain activity, because our community isn't just talking, they are building as well. I do want to mention our Sentinel program, and we've processed over 7,000 pieces of ambassador content. And more importantly, we are seeing real technical output. And we have done quite a few events and workshops with universities, some small hackathons, build-a-thons, but those have brought in some good numbers, over 120 smart contracts deployed, 35 dApps being built as part of our university hackathons and workshops. And of course, we are planting future seeds for our university partnerships. We have secured a long-term partnership with the Vietnam University of Transport and Communication. I want to give them a shout out. And for the first time ever, we are going to be part of a credit-bearing university curriculum. And of course, we are planning to expand this model into other countries. So if you're part of a university, feel free to reach out to us by using the form shared on our website in the uni program section. And of course, none of this would have happened without our amazing sentinels, our ambassadors, our regional leads, and every single one of you who shares questions in our channels or shares a post on Twitter. But yeah, as we look towards 2026, I think our focus should definitely be pivoting from pure volume to deep builder activation. But yeah, I don't want to take any more time. This was it from the community side of things. I think Matei can share some things from the BD side of things.
Hey, Vina, thanks for the intro, and I'm really happy to be back here in the kind of yearly wrap up. Yeah, from my side, so I think Mark and Will also speak a little bit on the BD side. This year, I've been working quite a bit on strategy, on the future plans, on kind of the shifts within the Oasis Foundation in terms of our approach. So I will mention, so what really got me excited about this year was WZ3, and maybe people kind of forgot a little bit about it because it was launched in April and then it went a little bit quiet. But that doesn't mean that we're not working under the hood around that. And why was I excited? Why am I excited about that accomplishment? Is because that kind of bootstrapped the launch of agents with Oasis, right? So it was our first trustless agent. It was kind of the reference implementation for others to see how to deploy a trustless agent that does stuff in DeFi. And I think Marco will explain more about Talos later on, which kind of built on a little bit on that foundation. And yeah, I'm still excited for what we have in stores for WT3 with the new developments that we're doing. So it's definitely not a forgotten project, but everybody knows that it's hard to be a trader in crypto, So as it is for any normal user, it's the same that applies for agents. The markets are unpredictable, so being profitable, it's a skill. So we're working with a few teams on the strategies in the back, and I'm excited to bring this back in 2026 with something for our users as well.
Sorry, I think my
maybe
yeah. Give me 1 second, please. Sorry, my AirPods kept disconnecting and I couldn't hear. Sorry, should we move on to the next section?
Yes.
I didn't hear the last part. I apologize.
Yeah. No, I'm done with my part. I'll explain more about the future plans later on, but this was the highlight for me for this year, and we can move on to Marco or Will.
Thank you, Matei. Marco, what do you have for us?
Hey, my favorite moment of this year at Oasis?
Yes. Some highlights that you want to share with us, not just one moment. If you have more highlights that you want to share, something that you're proud of, something that you guys managed to secure to build.
We're going to talk about builds anyway. But my personal favorite moment was actually Eve Dam and me doing the opening keynote. I was super stressed because it was a live demo with an AI agent. So much could have gone wrong. It was like talking to AI Satoshi, which was a super crazy idea Diana had. And somehow it worked out. And I had some really cool discussions about it afterwards. So I was super happy with this. But in general, I think reflecting on the year, I'm super happy to kind of see the DevX improvement in Ruffle specifically, because we did so many hackathons, like really starting early on in the year. And we generally do hackathons, of course, to meet amazing builders, but also to just get like live feedback on what's working, what is, and what should we improve. And it was amazing to see the change from like Cannes or Belgrade to now a couple of weeks ago in Buenos Aires at Eve Global, and everything clicked. Like people are really getting familiar with TEs, and the good part is they don't need lots of familiarity. It's just cloud deployment, and we do all the complicated TE stuff. So yeah, that's my favorite thing thinking back on this year. It's so easy
I
now
would,
to support builders.
yeah, I would agree with you because I've been part, as you know, as most of the conferences, and I remember there were more hiccups in the beginning with Ruffle and developers having issues understanding the concept and implementing it. But I think our engineering team did a tremendous job in both documentation and improving, upgrading things. So, yeah, that is exciting.
Yeah, exactly. And it's super feature complete. Like if you compare it to others, it comes with all the necessary stuff out of the box. So it's really for every developer. And that's what I'm currently enjoying with Ruffle. It makes it so easy for me to talk to anyone because it's by definition chain agnostic because the TE lives off chain. So it's been very easy for us recently in onboarding new partners, etc. Now it's just a question of getting them to mainnet and in production.
Nice, nice. Thank you, Marco. Thank you for sharing this. Let's move on to Tadej. What were some of the highlights?
Hey, Minya, thanks for having me. Yeah, I guess like for me, it would be hard to single out a single highlight. So for me, I guess in a similar way to Marco, I think just like seeing how Raffle, so our off-chain verified stack, has matured and grown throughout the year. So I think it's been really amazing. So I mean, like going like on the backend side, like we added scheduler, enable a marketplace. So basically, we have compute providers and consumers that like need machines, and they automatically decide on the offer and then run the machines. I think we added that nice Raffle proxy support, so you can basically, yeah, just like use any custom memorable domain to basically link to inside your Raffle app. And of course, the developer experience front has been amazing. Just to mention, like Oasis CLI has seen so much improvement, especially with the Raffle sub command and that part. I think just recently Peterus finished the reproducible builds, and they are now reproducible across Mac, Linux, Windows. We introduced the Raffle app, web app, that allows one to basically easily deploy to a template if they're less technical, or they can just come up with their own Docker Compose file, and then once they have the app running, they can monitor it, they can see the logs, and so on. We'll be expanding on that for sure in the future. I think the docs have really improved. We now highlight like interesting use cases, like Trust SA Agent, Trust Spice Oracle, Private Chatbot, and so on. I think we also like expanded to other ecosystems. So like I think our devs like provided instructions on how to use Raffle with Eliza, with Game by Virtuals, with Rig, SwiftChain, and so on. So and perhaps to end this section, I think just like seeing there, opening the Explorer and seeing Raffle Price Oracle live. So like Raffle Paymaster live. Just to show this a bit, like you can now actually deposit USDC, USDT on Base, and you will get the appropriate amount of rows on Sapphire in under 1 minute. So
and we use this in the latest Christmas raffle.
Yeah, so basically that's the first use case, and if you want to try it out, just go to raffle.oasis.io. It's really fun, and you can check out the Paymaster by buying some tickets. So
yeah, buy some tickets.
And there's more. There's Talos. We'll talk about it. There's like Verisage. We'll talk about it later. And all these are running in production in Raffle. So this is what makes me excited and proud.
People really do love, like developers really do love Raffle, and I think you guys did an amazing job in making everything user friendly. Like I'm not a developer, but like the easy deployments, the use cases make it so much clearer. Plus, we have the playground as well, where people have a lot of examples that they can fork.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we have like another 50 new ideas there. So like, if people into ideas, playground is the place.
Well, thank you today. Yeah, as you said, like there's too many things happening and too many developments that happened this year to highlight all of them. But thank you for highlighting maybe the most important ones. Okay, I'll give the floor to Peter. And Peter, you have been shipping a lot of things in the background lately. You've become quite the cook, the chef.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I think there was a lot of cool moments this year. Maybe I'll mention two things. So one personally was one of my highlights was really just building my own projects on top of Ruffle. So basically, whatever popped up an idea, we were quite nicely positioned to just bring value to that idea to improve it further by using Ruffle. Usually that means like adding some trustlessness or like verifiability to a concept. And yeah, I was able to use a couple of beacons and just build a couple of really nice projects that I'll also talk about later more. But then there's also the different part, which is working with our builders. There's a lot of builders now in Ruffle, and I could see over the year how like they progressed. Like if you look at the hackathons, like the recent hackathon submissions were really improved compared to the start of the year. And I think this one thing is that we did quite a lot of work to improve our stack, but also the builders are like getting familiar, and the feedback we get is mostly really positive, that the developer experience, at least now at the end of the year, like really improved a lot. And yeah, not just the hackathons, also other builders, other like other startups that are trying to launch companies on top of Ruffle. That's really, I think we really bring a good, unique value, and there's a lot of cool and exciting stuff happening. And I'm just happy to be able to support all the builders.
And I'm happy that you guys find time to support builders as well, besides building yourselves. And I actually see a lot of increased activity in our Discord, in the developer channels. I can see that people are building more and more actively and using Ruffle, and yeah, this is a very positive thing.
It's usually the best feedback that we get. So.
Exactly. Thank you, Peter. Great insights as always. I'll move on to Mark.
Cool. Thank you for having me. I'm always happy when I have you, Michna, as one that kind of leads this conversation. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited, for us as a team to have this town hall. It gives us an opportunity to kind of share a lot of new improvements that we've done over the last year. A lot of new updates, to kind of share a little bit of a glimpse into 2026, and obviously, to kind of share that we're happy for all the support that community has given us. So, it was a tough question. What was my kind of favorite moment of 2025? A lot of big things have happened for us. It was a big year. But if I look at just a couple of things, from more of an operational kind of perspective, this has been a year that was focused on a lot of team effort, progress towards becoming even stronger as a organization, as a team, to be more efficient. And as you've heard throughout today, we expanded our ecosystem with a bunch of new partnerships, to kind of further solidify Oasis as one of the leaders in the privacy. As you mentioned in the beginning, privacy has finally got that, major attention that we've always focused on. Internally, I'm extremely happy to share that we've grown as a team. You're probably going to hear a little bit of, we had a special team member join us. She's going to share some thoughts. We have a bunch of new members joining us. And basically what we've done, we've achieved a lot through the cross-department collaboration. I have to say that all the teams in all the departments, BD, engineering, community, marketing, events, operations, have done a really, really great job, working hand in hand, to do a lot of new and high impact initiatives. From some of the exciting products that we've seen launch in 2025 to new products to launch in 2026. You'll hear later from Matej a little bit, a glimpse into 2026. And I'm extremely happy also that we were able to build a strong brand tea party with our events team and marketing. I think this has been also a share effort with all of our major partners. So it's become a really, really big thing in all of our conferences. Probably one of the biggest milestones that we announced this year was also operational milestone for us, was also the marking of 5 years since the Oasis network mainnet went live. I have to say that it was a big celebration within the team, reaching the point where it was an impeccable record, no major incidents, no major downtimes. It's basically a testament that the robustness of our technology. We've always been extremely technologically driven. And this kind of proves to us, and with dedication of our team and also support of our community, that we're extremely strong entering the new year. So I want to say thank you for everyone, for the team, for the community, and we're excited to push to 2026. Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. We have done quite a lot over the years. We have a lot of achievements, and this is what I want to. I want the community to see that and realize that we are constantly building and shipping, and we're gonna do some great things very soon. Okay, let's move on to who didn't mention any highlights. Will, how are you doing, buddy?
How's it going, Minya?
Good morning, I think, right, for you?
It's not that bad. It's like
It's not that
11:30.
bad.
Yeah, it's 11:30.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
So, yeah, this year, I think there's like a single thing was most exciting, but also like a general theme that I'm proud of. And I think that single thing was the Take My Ape demo that came out of our collaboration with Cornell. It was the first implementation of liquefaction. It taught people that it is possible to basically rent an NFT, and that can be broader applied to like any token. It can be a DAO vote and things of that nature. Just in this example, it was an ape. It was a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, and they could sign on behalf of the NFT. So they could use it to enter the Discord. They could use it to enter, I guess, the exclusive events that they have and things of that nature. Like they actually would own it for a period of time through this idea of liquefaction and encumbered wallets. And yeah, that's something I'll probably talk about more later. It's a long topic, and we got things to move on to.
Yeah.
In general, I think the whole exploration of liquefaction from the paper coming out from Cornell, I think almost exactly this time last year, to Take My Ape demo in May/June being completed, to the research that we did with Danny, who is a part of Ari Jules' lab over at Cornell on his summer internship, to extend to basically Bitcoin liquefaction as well. And then the recent work we're doing with them, as well as the recent stuff that's been going on with Semi-Liquid, where they just completed a pilot with Franklin Templeton, Ava Labs, Zodiac Custody Solutions, Presto, and I think they call it M1 as the credit backer, and I'll talk about that later. But yeah, just like the entire arc of liquefaction thus far, where it only was conceptualized exactly a year ago, and we've made so much progress. It's driving a lot of, I think, our unique value proposition, and will continue to do so. We have more and more interest every day about it. I think we're using it in some of our own products that Matej is going to talk about. And so that's, I think, the general theme overall that I'm most proud of.
Nice. And yeah, but as I remember correctly, that tape, the one they demoed, sparked the most transactions, right?
Yeah. It was very hard to determine if it was the most transactions, but it was definitely the most in like a very long time. I think it was like 100 transactions of like 100 different wallets owned it within like a week.
Nice.
Yeah. You could rent it for 2 minutes to a couple days to like a week or something like that. But obviously people wanted to test it out, so people were bidding on it and auctioning on it rather quickly. And it cost, I think, depending on what your auction price was, but like the gas was like 2 rows or 1.5 rows, so not so much to potentially own a Bored Ape Yacht Club. And basically, it was a cool use case that I think can be broader applied to like ticketing, like for events, as well as other NFT type gating. But yeah, in general, like if you read liquefaction paper, there's like 20 use cases, from confidential voting to cross-chain Bitcoin to Ethereum transactions to building smart contracts on Bitcoin. And we're really excited to continue doing work with Cornell on that, and see what the next use case is. And I'm hoping that we'll have more for you by the end of Q1 next year.
Nice. And I think people are not aware, but the liquefaction paper actually contains a lot of cool use cases that can be implemented today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's like 20 of them. I think we share it every once in a while, and I don't know, maybe I'll share it on Twitter again today.
Nice. Thank you so much, Will. And last but definitely not least, Diana, our events lead. We had a lot of cool events this year and a lot of people attending and a lot of nice outcomes from those events. But yeah, Diana, if you want to share some highlights with the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Michna. So yeah, we've definitely been a steady presence at conferences in 2025, from ETHDAM to ETH Belgrade, smaller community conferences, to Token 2049 Dubai, ETCC, Denver, South Korea Blockchain Week, last and not least, DEF Connect. So Oasis has pretty much been everywhere it matters. And that translated into a lot of good things for us, thanks to our fantastic BD team. It translated into fantastic connections and partnerships. Thanks to our engineering team, it translated into some really cool hackathon submissions. But I think my favorite part of 2025 is not that, it's actually the 4 editions of the afternoon tea party. What started as, kind of like place where TE projects can meet and talk about future developments, and why not educate communities, builders about the benefits of TEs and why they make sense as the solution for privacy right now in Web3. Well, it turned into something much bigger. It turned into what was the second most signed up event of ETCC. It turned into what was one of the staple events of DEF Connect, side events of DEF Connect. It turned into one of the most tweeted about events in Token 2049 Dubai. So I think these are all things that I'm super, super proud of, and very, very happy that I was able to contribute to organizing them.
Thank you very much, Diana. Yeah, it was a really, really successful year, I would say. Okay, so we talked about highlights. I want to focus on products, and we often describe Oasis as infrastructure, and this is what comes next is actually proof that what that infrastructure enables in practice. So first off, I would like to talk to Tadej, and Tadej, as Director of Engineering, you've been close to most of the core developments this year. So what are some of the new ones that we should be expecting?
Am I on stage? Yes, I guess I am.
Yes.
Yeah, happy to talk about the new developments because there really is a lot of things going on. So just for the audience, the big picture, I don't know if you guys see the slide or not correctly. Okay, thanks. So yeah, I think like the big picture focuses on 3 pillars. So one is, of course, like our core value proposition, which remains confidential and verifiable on-chain compute. So what that means, we want to ensure things stay secure, and we continue keeping on top of the latest T developments and exploits. We also refine our defense and depth mechanisms. And last but not least, we, of course, are open to complementary privacy-enhancing technologies such as zero-knowledge proofs, MCP, FEG, and so on. So that's one pillar. And of course, we're always also working on improving performance. And I think you'll be eager to hear that we are also working on GPU support in Raffle, which will unlock some new use cases down the road. But then it doesn't matter if your core tech is great, right? If it's not accessible to a wide audience of Web3 developers and builders. So that's why the pillar number 2, better developer experience, what it means. So Raffle sort of has grown nicely, but we want to set up for success. So I think what's needed is simpler deployment and top up. So we are actively working on a Raffle build and deploy GitHub action that will simplify the building and deployment. The simpler top up will basically make it as simple as your standard SaaS cloud provider. So you set up an allowance on your wallet, and then it will just automatically top up the raffle machine. It will be really smooth. Yeah, we're doing new clients. So we just recently launched a new raffle client for Python, TypeScript. Rust is in the works, and we'll add more based on demand. We want to commoditize, just like using our tech. So I think we'll partner with some prominent entities to just like make creating encumbered wallets as easy as possible. Of course, we'll continue improving the docs. Peter, I think, will talk more about ERC 8004 and how it will be plug and play. And I want to mention the encumbered accounting module. So this is built on top of the Crossroads concept spearheaded by Cornell. And we are just in development there. It allows cross-chain deposits on any chain, and you're able to trade, swap, exchange these tokens privately with instant finality. So it really enables so many applications, and I'm really excited to see this live in Q1. I want to see more apps powered by Oasis. Thanks to the BD team, we have the Plurality, which is basically they're developing this portable user-owned AI memory. And basically it will mean AI agents won't forget your context and will stop hallucinating. And then we have Flashback Labs. They are building this federated learning protocol. So basically AI model training is done privately inside these, and access policies are handled by Sapphire smart contracts. Then we have Carrot. I don't know if you saw the announcement today, but they're building the first fully on-chain prop trading platform, which is awesome. And then White Matters, basically they're adding verifiability to an otherwise opaque process so that both traders, investors have probable record of each action. And they just launched their app on Raffle 2 days ago. Imagine, right? And then we have Diode. It's sort of like an end-to-end encrypted Slack-like alternative, and they're using Raffle and Oasis to build Oasis-anchored collab zones. So basically, this will allow for full encryption on access control of the social graphs. So nobody will be able to see who's connected to who and so on. So I don't want to stall here, but just it's so much and it's hard to actually keep on top of everything. So I think we'll go deep dive into a couple of these use cases. So I'll pass the torch to you, Minya.
Actually, today these are great updates, and I think the most important thing is that we are expanding outside of our ecosystem, and with Raffle we have way more interesting use cases for the regular user. For example, with Plurality, I have a lot of friends who are not into blockchain. They're not using anything Web3, but they are using a lot of chatbots, right? So most of them unpaid, they don't have subscriptions for ChatGPT, for Gemini, for all of those. And I did show them Plurality and the ability to bring context to multiple LLMs is actually really cool. It's a really cool use case, and I'm actually talking about Plurality all the time. I find them really cool, and I have used Diode as well, and I haven't used it for a month or so, but it was really working really well. So having everything verifiable, confidential, I think this is our main mission. Again, thank you so much for sharing everything, and the slide does help for the community to maybe they'll take a screenshot and take a look after. Of course, we're gonna share the recording anyway, but should we move on to Peter? I think. Oh yeah, Peter is gonna talk about ERC 8004 and.
Hello. I start with 6402. Basically, I just want to share some updates on some of the technical integrations that we've been doing recently. These are not really products per se, but are more like seeing how the Oasis Raffle stack interacts with the rest of the cutting-edge developments that are happening across the crypto ecosystem. and how we can provide value to a lot of these new initiatives that are coming up. So yeah, I'll start with X402. Basically, as many probably know, X402 is like this new open standard for internet native payments, like introduced by Coinbase. And one place where we saw we can fit quite nicely with our Oasis Ruffle stack is basically the X402 facilitator part. So the facilitators is currently a very centralized part of the X402 ecosystem and spec that basically handles payment verifications, and users kind of need to trust the people running the servers of the X402 facilitators to like not do any censorship, additional tracking, and similar stuff. And our idea was that we can utilize our like Ruffle stack to run the facilitator inside TE. And with that, by default, like we get the verifiability, the trustlessness. Everyone can verify that the facilitator is actually accepting all the payments. It's not doing any preferential treatment for different addresses. It's not doing any censorships. And I'm trying to be brief here. Anyone that's more interested can follow the links. Every like example, we have a link that basically explains the concepts in more detail. But our broader vision here is that we're just trying to like improve the new like crypto ecosystem standards to like trying to reduce the centralization and make like verifiability and trustlessness like a core component of these new stacks. And this is our main idea. And I think we can go to the next one now. Similarly, this is still related to X402. We also built like a trustless service that's running behind that's basically processing X402 payments and doing some work as part of that. And basically, this is a verifiable truth oracle. It's basically used for fact checking and dispute resolution, and it's exposed behind the X402 payment layer. And here we use our Oasis Ruffle stack like to provide trustlessness. So users don't need to trust the operator of the service, don't need to trust the like specific AI provider or even the developers, because they can like manually verify the code. And the core idea of this is basically that this enables like truth oracles that are like based on AI models that keep getting better, but are not and are not controlled like a single entity. And similarly as before, there's a website link, you can visit it. The website also like contains very nice explanation of what it does, and it links to the code repository with some quite more in-depth details about this. And we can go to the next one, which is the ERC 8004. This is like this is a bit of a different topic. Like ERC 8004 is a standard that's like being introduced by the Ethereum Foundation. It's tried to define like trustless agents and make like a standard on how to use them in practice. And one part of this is validation of these agents. So basically, we provided Mateusz, our team member, like implemented one of the first like validators that actually implement the validator spec that's also running live and deployed for our Oasis Ruffle agents. What this means in practice that basically anyone that uses Ruffle stack to build trustless agents, they really have this plug and play thingy that they can use inside their agents, and they by default get the verifiable the agents that are verifiable by the ERC 8004 standard. Again, there is a nice link at the bottom that you can follow to see all the details. It's a bit technical, but anyone that's interested into this should be able to get more details on this. And again, here we're just trying to help with the ERC 8004 narrative. We try to improve and highlight the importance of the trustlessness, because that is actually a bit kind of got sidetracked with all the hype around it. And I think our stack fits really nicely into this. I think, if you have any questions.
Sorry, just wanted to know, like you said, you were in contact with a lot of builders, and Do you see an actual interest that has risen lately regarding verifiable facilitators? Like, is
Yeah.
this something that people request and are aware of, that this is a centralized part that needs to be verifiable?
Yeah, I think there's two things here. I think one is about interest from outsiders. I think Marco, who's going next, can speak a lot more about that. But just about, yeah, there are two things. One is actually educating people that this is a problem, or that this is a very centralized point for the export to spec. And I think that people that are aware of this are quite, they don't need a lot of convincing that this is a needed
Okay.
thing to do.
Okay, so we need to focus on educating the audience as well.
And I think we've been improving on that as well lately.
Okay. Sorry, did I interrupt you? Was there anything else, Peter?
No,
Or-
I just wanted to pass the torch to Marco, who's
Yeah.
gonna talk things that are a bit related to this.
Okay. And Talos, which the community asks a lot about. Marco, take it away.
Yes, thank you. And Peter is way too humble. I mean, this is
I
crazy.
know.
Lots of the stuff that he creates, it's just a couple of days, a free weekend, and suddenly he builds an LLM oracle that in theory disrupts anything that has a resolution mechanism, because they're fundamentally flawed if you have to rely on humans to get to a resolution. So that's why we're currently talking to lots of those players that need this. And yes, in general, what we always do is just raise awareness of problems, be it privacy and AI, or in general verifiable compute. So this is a common theme among the work we do. But yeah, focusing here on Talos, as you said, this is super exciting. We still have lots of people asking about this. Funny enough, like Talos, we made it a trustless agent before 8004 was even a thing. Like this, the PR by Yane to make it was more than 6 months ago. So this is an independent product. It's not an agent built by Oasis, but they came to us and they were like, hey, you are the TE experts. We really want to have this agent as autonomous and as trustless as possible. So I think everyone that has heard me speak once knows I always repeat these 3 questions on the screen, because I really think it's not that trivial to make agents trustless. Like, people are thinking, hey, I just registered my agent on 8004 and suddenly it's trustless. I mean, obviously not. The agent is now just being discoverable, and you kind of have a field in the agent card trust assumption TE. But what does this even mean? So the questions are, who's running the agent, who's controlling the private key, and who can upgrade the agent? And you will see, or you should realize quickly, if you've ever built an agent, it's really not easy to have good answers to this. We provided them with Talos. Everything is public. All the PRs that Yane, that spoke here in the beginning, actually wrote personally are also public. So in theory, you could just copy paste this and see all this and just follow along all the steps. Likewise, we do have in our docs an example on how to build a trustless agent with the ELIZA framework that actually registers on 8004 automatically. So super cool, and anyone building an agent space should just check out the guide in the docs. For Talos specifically, our answers to those questions are: the agent is obviously running in a TE, so the execution is fully verifiable. The agent, since it is a ROFL app, it gets access to an internal REST API that kind of provides a key management service. So private or public key is kind of revealed. The private key never leaves the secure enclave. So it's just a matter of funding this key, and this key is then actually being used by the agent to sign transactions. In the case of Talos, fully on Arbitrum. So that's, for me, the coolest part, and just shows how chain agnostic ROFL, or in general the Oasis stack, is becoming, because the agent isn't specifically doing anything on Oasis. Oasis is just being used for these features and for powering the TE cloud, which is ROFL, and it kind of provides the on-chain policies for deployment, and the chain itself is kind of the attestation verifier system. And then the last question, and this is where we had to get a bit creative, is upgradability of off-chain apps or off-chain code is very difficult to make trustless. So what we thought of was to build a GitHub action that builds the image that is then actually being hosted in the TE cloud. So here, every time there is a new push on the main branch, this goes into a governance mechanism. We implemented here a multi-sig because Talos has a governance committee anyways. So if they all approve or sign the message of the multi-sig, then it's being pushed and a new app is being deployed, and a full record of all the kind of images that were built is on-chain and anyone can verify this. In the very best case, you would implement also an implementation delay so that there's like a 1 week period before something like a major upgrade goes live. But this is just minor details, and this should be a great idea for anyone that wants to build a trustless agent that is very autonomous. And you can be super creative. I mean, we've had projects copy paste Talos and include a Futaki style governance mechanism on top.
Okay, nice. I wasn't aware of this. Cool. Anything else that you want to share, Marco?
No, sorry, we're over time anyways.
I know. But stay with us. I promise. We'll try to keep it shorter, and we have 3 very exciting sections coming up. But thank you so much, Tadej, Marco, Peter, for sharing this with us. As I said, we are building a lot of cool stuff. Next, I want to re-invite Mark, our director of operations, on stage. He's gonna talk about a cool new thing we're doing, which is strategic investments.
Yeah, thanks, Michna. So I'm extremely happy to share this. I'm going to try to give some insights. Oasis has always been focused on supporting, passionate projects and visionary founders. We've always tried supporting them with grants and also with our growth teams, marketing support, engineering support, BD support. And this year, the goal was, to expand on that. As when you start your company, and as we see a lot of, new founders, obviously it's great if you can get a grant, but if you can get that next step, which is the first investment, the first capital, to expand on the project, that's even better. So this year, I'm extremely happy to share. In the second half of the year, we made a decision that we want to support founders that we see have fit and are aligned with our strategy and tech stack. And so we started, approaching this strategically, and we made our first investment throughout the year. So in the last 6 months, we made a couple of investments that our community and our partners will learn about in the next couple of months. The first investment that we already revealed was Semi-Liquid. I'm extremely happy that we got the possibility to support them. Rico van der Veen as the CEO and visionary with the great team deserves this. They're extremely, promising young team startup. So this was a strategic investment. They're custody native credit infrastructure provider. And they're utilizing, we heard a lot about liquefaction. So they're utilizing the latest liquefaction research from Cornell Tech, and out of which, Oasis Sapphire is kind of the tech backbone. By the way, Cornell is also one of our strategic partners. So yeah, the new investment arm basically represents the evolution of the Oasis grants program into a more focused, long-term kind of capital strategy, which basically aims to support, the founders that, want to take it to the next step. So if you're a builder and you feel the project is close to Oasis vision and our tech stack, please reach out to our team. We would love to support you. We would love to meet you. So again, a great initiative that we're extremely proud that we made it happen.
I'm excited for this path, and I agree. Semi-liquid was a really good choice. They're a really good use case of liquefaction. And Rico, I had Rico on the podcast, and he and his team are really doing great. Thank you so much, Mark, for sharing this. I'm sure the community is excited to hear, and we have a couple of other things coming up in the agenda that Matej is gonna share, but. Right now, since we talked about Semi-Liquid, Will, maybe you can share more on this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, yeah, it's very exciting to have Semi-Liquid be the first project to be part of our investment arm. I think it made a ton of sense. It was a truly unique value proposition built on our tech stack. That was going to be, institutional and real world asset RWA focused. So it hit a lot of the check marks. And I think it's so far so good. We're very happy with our decision to invest in the protocol, and we're excited for what comes next. But I wanted to maybe explain what's already happened. It is I guess an institutional product, so the retail doesn't get to touch it as much as some of our other ecosystem products in the past. But what basically had just occurred is they completed a successful pilot in which Avalanche, Avalabs, Franklin Templeton, Presto, M1 were all involved, and basically they created the first ever programmable credit centered around the Franklin Templeton Benji token. And what really has excited institutions, both credit issuers and credit takers, is that the private credit protocol that semi-liquid launched makes it possible to originate, manage, and settle on-chain credit while preserving institutional custody. So that's Zodia, enforceable credit terms similar to a smart contract, fine-grained control through liquefaction, and on-chain settlement guarantees. It really makes the credit process for real-world assets and tokens or digital assets extremely more efficient, extremely faster, and cheaper as well, as we've seen how just smart contracts in general can lower friction there. So there's no need to no need to transfer assets, no need to share keys. You just get all of these things that these institutions are asking for. If we want to jump to the next slide. But so yeah, how is Oasis involved? So it's probably a little bit hard. I'm trying to zoom in here. Maybe people can zoom in at home. But if you look at that picture, that diagram to the right, there's sort of four components, five components. So there's the Zodia custody on the left-hand side. There's the private credit management system above that. Then to the right, there's the lender system with M11 credit. And then there's the Avalanche Fuji blockchain. This was all done on testnet. And then you can see in the middle is the Oasis Sapphire testnet. That's part of their TICS system. TICS stands for Trustless Issuance and Clearing Systems. So that creates the PCR, which is basically a receipt, a private credit receipt, and the policies. And then also like under those policies, like what happens if there's a breach of contract, and what happens, and also like the receiving of data from data feeds. So it's I tried to sort of in this system go over all the parts that TICS touches. So the custodian locks collateral under specified terms defined in a liquefaction contract. That's Oasis does that. Lender transfers credit, and an Oracle communicates this to an Oasis Sapphire liquefaction contract. Custodian confirms receipt of an Oracle communications and communicates this to a liquefaction contract. Semi-liquid, based off of those communications, mints a private credit receipt to the lender as a legally referred to digital credit receipt. Margin calls and repayment and default are all handled via instructions from the Oasis Sapphire liquefaction contract. And then after all that's done, the private credit receipt is burned upon full repayment. So you can really see that the driving engine of this is liquefaction, and it's like the first, I guess, use case of liquefaction other than the Take My Ape that I talked about earlier. But we see already demand from people who have seen this pilot who want to build similar things for mortgage-backed securities and other real-world assets. And so we're very, very excited about this. But yeah, maybe just going back to what it does, if that was all a lot. Basically, the TIC system, Trustless Issuance and Credit System, is used to coordinate collateral encumbrance, credit origination, custody confirmation, receipt issuance, margin call automation, and settlement. If that's the way you want to remember it, that's probably the better way. So you can see it's really touching a lot of things. And then architecturally, there's custody infrastructure on one side, credit counterpart systems on the other, and the settlement layers below that. But Sapphire is coordinating the trust in the middle. And so this is a credit solution designed to meet the workflow and compliance needs of the largest institutions, and we're just excited to be part of it. So maybe
I was. Oh, sorry. Well, I'll ask my question at the end.
There's one more slide. Yeah, thanks. So what's next? The next step is that they will move to phase 2. Expanding integrations and collateral types. Again, this pilot only handled Benji and I think USDC. So imagine Ethereum, Base, potentially, more networks, more collateral types, more things to borrow. They want to integrate more custodians. So right now, Zodia is their partner. They really were a driver in this pilot. But yeah, other ones that they're considering are Komainu, Copper, BitGo, and probably many more as well. Additional collateral classes, like I said before, besides money market funds, which Benji is a money market fund. I think JP Morgan just launched a money market fund like the other day. So these are all things that can integrate in, but you can imagine mortgage-backed securities. You can imagine maybe REITs for real estate. All sorts of different real-world assets. And even I don't even think it needs to be real-world assets. It could be Bitcoin. I think Maple Finance is a large project that handles Bitcoin for things like MicroStrategies and people that have institutions that have Bitcoin on their balance sheets can borrow against it. So that's a whole other area, and I'm sure very, very many more. So we're excited to look at other things, but I think even with just money market funds, like I said, Benji, JP Morgan, I think BlackRock has their own. So there's enough to go around there as well. They're looking at solvency tested under collateralized credit support. So yeah, again, this is institution to institution. It makes it a little bit easier to explore under collateralized loans, and so that's a potential area of research. And then also this private credit receipt that gets issued to the person also being eligible as collateral, sort of for secondary lending and leverage. And so, yeah, I mean, basically, why is this so great? It's resulting in 90% faster credit origination, 10x cost reduction, and increased liquidity usage and availability of 40%. And so this is why institutions are getting involved. This is why the solution created by the semi-liquid team is so great. And we're just really excited for what comes next. And we're going to support them the best we can. But yeah, just that's a little bit more on, our investment into them and what they've done thus far and where we're going.
I honestly think this is mind-blowing, Will. I kid you not. I mean, I've been paying close attention ever since we came into contact with semi-liquid, but I think they evolved into so much more. And as far as you know, because you know way more than this than I do, is anybody building anything similar in the industry?
I mean, it depends on how you define similar. People like I said, like Maple Finance, and I don't consider them a competitor. I consider them visionaries, but they have a credit system. But yeah, it's not automated, right? So you basically create a contract with them as an institution. Maybe your MicroStrategy, you have a bunch of Bitcoin on your balance sheet. You write a contract with Maple Finance. They'll issue stable coins against that. So no one has really gotten to the point where institutional credit is solved, and that's why it's so attractive to these institutions, is because it's the first time that they're seeing it, and I think a lot of them have wanted it for a while. So yeah, I would say no one is building it the way that they are, that solves all the needs of institutions at this point in time, where it's also like a big thing for them is they could in theory just use Aave, right? Or something like that. But the problem is that they need it to also be custodial. So it needs to exist in Zodia. It needs to exist in Copper or BitGo or Komainu. It can't exist in a smart contract, which has these surface areas that can be attacked. And so that's another thing is yeah, that's what liquefaction enables. And because they're the first people building on liquefaction, then the answer is, yeah, no one's doing that.
I think our community is always wondering what's the next big use case, the next big thing in terms of adoption of Oasis. This is one of those. Thank you so much, Will. Let's move things along because we're already past the hour mark. Matej, I know you have some great news to share with us, so
yeah, I mean,
take it away, please.
Kind of hyping it up during the town hall, and yeah, I think this is an important section to speak about the future plans for Oasis, for OPF, and maybe I'll go back just looking over the year 2025. 2024 we had the year of memes, and 2025 I think was the year where everything was coming more back to value. Looking at projects that are building stuff that makes a difference, that can generate revenue. So this shift back to value is really in our favor, right? Because we weren't good at memes. We don't know how to build bullshit. We build proper products, that bring some value to the ecosystem. So this is something that we're really happy to see, that we're going a little bit away from all just the jokes and crypto, seeing it just the gambling layer, and going back towards crypto being an alternative to the traditional system. And then coming out of that, towards the end of the year, we saw how privacy became kind of the number one focus of the whole crypto ecosystem, right? Obviously, on the heels of Zcash pumping like crazy, right? And everybody talking about privacy being the kind of the last frontier that crypto needs to tackle. I think this is kind of the two market shifts that are really favorable for us, right? And we also had a reflection over how we were doing things, around our ecosystem. And, there might be some chatter around our community, around what's happened with the TVL on Sapphire, the native apps on Sapphire. And we made a decision, to not to pivot or change direction, but to just change the approach in terms of how we tackle the Oasis ecosystem, and how we help with the adoption of the Oasis tech, right? So the values, the technology basically stays the same, right? It's just how we're going to bring into the broader market that's changing, right? So there's a lot of tech that we built, and we're going to try to consolidate it a little bit better into kind of one vertically integrated stack, right? So it's not, Sapphire, Raffle, Key Manager, all of that, right? Different components, but you're basically using, the Oasis stack for your needs, right? Whichever they are, right? And this is, I think, what today spoke at the beginning, improving the DevX. This is one of the key pillars, right? Making it simple to integrate, and especially to integrate cross-chain, right? Because the best way to get adoption is to go where the users and funds, the TVL is, right? Instead of trying to bridge over everything to Oasis, right? Why not just encumber it on Oasis, right? So use Oasis as the secure layer, not the base layer, right? And we see this with semi-liquid is a great example of that, right? So the tokens were on Avalanche Fuji, right, the testnet, but the secure component was on Oasis. And this is definitely the approach we're going to take moving forward, right? Is to kind of be the plug-and-play solution for confidential verifiable compute, right? We can offer it off-chain with Raffle, on-chain with Sapphire. We can offer key management as a service out of the box. The encumbered accounting module will offer a lot on just funds management, cross-chain execution. So there's text already there, right? We just need to make it a little bit easier to use and integrate with kind of the chain agnostic aspect, right? And from here, we're also, going to be kind of creating a new vertical of end user apps that will be incubated by OPF, right? In the past, we predominantly were working just B2B. So talking to projects, talking to devs, what's possible to build with our tech, and that's definitely still a very strong kind of vertical that we're not planning to abandon anytime soon, right? But with this, it was always, we were kind of dependent on other projects to build out products, apps that our community can use, with our tech stack. And I think here we were kind of dependent on the kind of partner execution, right? And by building our own end user apps, we can really show the full capability of our tech stack, if we are the ones developing it. Plus, it's a good way to test our stack as well, see where some potential hurdles that devs could come to, so try to unblock everything before, other devs come to it, right? So that's definitely one vertical that I'm personally very excited about, and that I'm going to be working quite a bit on. We're going to share more throughout the year in detail here. So this is just like a small snippet of what's to come. But yeah, definitely people should stay tuned to see what's coming on the end user side. But I understand that for the community, there's obviously always a big question of roles and how does this kind of tie in with the Rose token, right? So the Rose value was always, or Rose utility was always tied to its usage in the ecosystem, right? So paying for transactions on Sapphire, paying for Ruffle instances, and stuff like that. And Rose will still be used for all that. As today mentioned, we will obfuscate away kind of the need, the first hurdle to get that Rose to start interacting with it. So the paymaster is definitely a piece of the whole stack that's very welcoming. Where people can have funds on any EVM, non-EVM chain, and pay for their services they want to use with us in the token they like, and it just gets converted to Rose and gets paid for on our tech stack. So that will significantly improve the developer experience, and also end user experience as well. With the Christmas raffle, I encourage everybody to go check it out. If they're not the gambling type, just buy one ticket just to see how it works seamlessly. It's really nice. But this is one case of where we have the demand for Rose, and this one will stay in the future as well. But with the new verticals, right, with the unified vertically integrated stack that offers more services with the end user apps, there will be fees, that will be charged for those services, because those are not just your kind of bare bone tech, but those are high level services that you can charge fees for. And we'll see, how those fees can be used to potentially, buy back Rose and lock it away, and kind of bring value back to Rose through those fees, through the products that we develop. So we'll share more details next year on the mechanics once the products are out. But I can definitely say that, we have the token in mind as well when it comes to bringing value with everything that we do, that we develop with Oasis, right?
And I think this is because, of course, as we're aware, this is something the community asks a lot. Burning tokens, buyback. WT3 also has a mechanism of burning, right? That profit, but it depends on usage, basically, in the end.
Of course, it depends on usage, but I can assure you that here the usage will definitely be higher, or maybe I should say the fees can be higher than the transaction. So transactions, are very cheap. Even Ruffle instances are, registrations itself, the kind of the framework that people use. We try to keep those services, which are more base services, low cost, right? And then you can charge more for higher level services that abstract away a lot of complexity for the developers, for the users that they are willing to pay for, right? It's always that way. Like, there's a lot of block space, but if you're able to create execution mechanism, cost execution mechanism that's cheaper than something comparable, on other chains, or you need to use 10 different tools to make it happen, right? Obviously, you'd be willing to pay for that, and this is where I see more potential for revenue, and more potential to bring value back to Rose.
Exactly. And just so people really understand, like, we're not abandoning any ecosystem, so ecosystem is still very important to us.
Yeah. It's just a different ecosystem, right? So
exactly.
Some apps will build completely natively, right? Because they might come more from the traditional Web2 space, and they just need a secure on-chain solution, right? With our approach, it's just that, giving more focus to the ecosystem that already have users and developers and very well established apps, right? It's just easier to offer them the secure layer, that they're potentially missing on the native chain, instead of trying to bring them over just for the secure features that we offer, right?
So, sorry, another question that I saw a lot in the community was the need for bridges. Now, do we have need for bridges? Because there was an incident with Router, and people were asking, like.
That's a very important question. The encumbered accounts actually eliminate bridges, right? So when we say encumbrance on Sapphire, that means that you're using native addresses that are stored within smart contract on Sapphire, right? Which means that you don't need your traditional bridge, such as router, layer 0 across or whatever, right? You're basically it feels like you're operating natively, and you're just bridging over certain messages that can be done via Raffle or any other messaging service. So it changes kind of, it switches up the let's say there's a mental shift going from TVL on Sapphire to TVL secured by Sapphire, right? And this is where the difference is going to lie, right?
Exactly, and I think it's way better that we're expanding in all
for sure.
ecosystems. And with the paymaster, we're abstracting the need to have rows directly, like we can pay another.
It's cumbersome, to get that first batch of rows, and the paymaster just kind of abstracts that away. It's super simple. It's very clean. We're gonna upgrade it as well, so it's gonna be even faster. Now it takes around a minute to process. I think we can get that down going forward with iterations. But yeah, that's definitely one of the key components here to make it easier for developers and other ecosystems to adopt our tech as well.
I do encourage people to use the Xmas Raffle just to see how the payment works from USDC or USDT on base. Cool. I won't take up more of your time, Matej. As I said, we're already way past the hour mark. But thank you so much for explaining things and sharing this with the community.
Yeah, happy to always.
Thank you, Matej. And now, the last section before we start with the Q&A, and we'll try to move fast through everything. But I do have some exciting news because we haven't announced this publicly, but we do have a new head of marketing. She's a lovely person, Dominika Kosak. I want to invite her on stage. I'm probably gonna have her as a guest on. Sorry, Dominika. Just a second. I'm probably gonna have you as a guest on the Meet the Team series. But since you're here, maybe you can share a few words with our community, like
sure.
Maybe a bit of your background, how you got started in Web3 and.
Got it. I'll try not to spill too much tea this time. So hi everyone, GM. So happy to be here finally and officially. I'm Dominika. I'm heading marketing at Oasis. My background is officially, obviously, marketing and comms and in product marketing. I've spent over 10 years in that area and started more on a corporate side in big tech such as Microsoft. And then more than 4 years ago, I moved to more startup-y vibe when I joined crypto. And most of my crypto experience has been around privacy-focused projects, including Midnight, Aleph Zero, but I also worked on some end-user products such as privacy wallets, privacy pools. And I'm really excited to be here. I think the role of head of marketing in crypto is never actually purely marketing. It's strategic role at the intersection of comms, of community management, BD growth, product marketing. So I'm really happy to bring this skill set to the team. And yeah, since I joined a couple of weeks ago, I've been really much focused on deeply understanding the value of Oasis, the key use cases such as AI agents, DeFi, or RWAs, to ensure that our content strategy, our positioning, and branding are amplifying these values and communicating them in an accessible but also educating and an exciting way.
Nice, thank you. And what got you interested in Oasis first of all?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I already worked on privacy projects. And what I believe is truly exciting about Oasis, it's its direction around verifiable confidential compute for any builder on any chain. That was already mentioned previously on this call. We've all seen a big rise in their interest in privacy coins and privacy-related projects, which is really great, right? It shows that privacy is no longer a niche, no longer a nice-to-have feature, but a real value driver. But personally, I think that confidential compute with all the additional features that we're offering on top, like on-chain verifiability, key management, encumbered accounts, all of this is going to be much, much bigger than just privacy coins. Just look at the hype around AI agents. These are everywhere. But tell me, Michna, would you feel comfortable now letting any AI agent just manage your funds or just access your private data, your private keys without knowing how it behaves? I think it's pretty scary.
Of course.
And yeah, and that's why I believe that privacy is important, but alone is not enough. And we're solving this with on-chain verifiability, with key management and confidentiality combined. So yeah, I think this is the real mode. This is the most exciting. This unique combination of all of this, confidentiality with layered security and the verifiability in one package. So I think it's pretty undervalued right now. So I'm on a mission to help communicate that in a clear way, in clear narratives, with great content, branding campaigns that make it easy to understand this real value and reach wider audiences. So
And you have our full support, you know that, all the departments. Before I let you go, maybe like a sneak peek in 26, like what can the community expect from the marketing department?
What you can expect, definitely, like I mentioned, I am on a mission to communicate clearly the value of Oasis, how we stand out, and really support it with great branding, great campaigns. I'm also planning to include perhaps some of the influencers and content creators. And I'm definitely going to ask about some feedback from the community on marketing. Yeah, would love to hear your input. If you have any questions, any suggestions, I'm open to that. Really, I want to focus on making people think, okay, confidential, verifiable compute, it means Oasis immediately. So that's my key mission and goal, I think, for 2026.
Thank you, Dominic. I'm sure you're gonna make it.
Hopefully, with great help from
Of
the
course,
team at Oasis,
of
which
course.
is amazing.
We're all a single entity here. Cool. Okay, let's move on. The last section, Q&A. I'll try to make it as fast as possible. What are we? Almost 1.5 hours. Hope you're still with us, folks. Okay, first question, Marco, maybe you can take this one, is how do you plan to capture value from the AI hype?
Oof, I was just enjoying listening. No, the question is pretty easy because it's exactly what we've been doing for the past 2 years, pretty much. I mean, this is the question that we always ask ourselves. This was also the question that partially led to the development of Ruffle. I mean, decentralized AI came around March 1.5 years ago. And what people quickly realized was it's not that easy to merge these two worlds. Like, crypto is built on verifiability. AI is non-deterministic, and in general, like, off-chain compute is very difficult to include in a blockchain world. I mean, that's the whole business of Chainlink in a way. So we realized, hey, TEs, what we have been doing for more than 7 years by now, are really perfect for verifiability of off-chain compute, even though we generally just use it for privacy in an on-chain world. So that's kind of the story of Ruffle. Specifically for AI, it can really be used across the ecosystem. So in theory, you could do decentralized training. You would need GPU support for that, but that's rather high on our roadmap. any agent project needs to be trustless. I think it's still the blocker of why we don't have more DeFi agent adoption. We talked about it quite a bit on this town hall. Ruffle makes it very easy to make your agents trustless. Likewise, LLM oracles, I think they will be used more and more. There's lots of projects like, for example, Swarm Network building truth protocols. They need to have these agents that are kind of LLM oracles, but they need to be trustless. They need to be verifiable. So there's lots of work happening there, and our stack is just ready. I know more and more players are coming. Everyone is now looking into TEs, but they're going to face some challenges that we faced many years ago. And our system simply has been in production for more than 2 years, meaning Sapphire and Ruffle now also since this summer. So we have lots of experience with production-ready systems and onboarding actual builders.
Nice. So a lot of, this is a lot of things. Thank you, Marco. Next question. As I said, I'll try to move fast through these. William, maybe you can take this one. People still do not understand what Oasis actually does better than competitors. What's the real advantage that will lead to ecosystem growth?
Yeah. There's a couple parts to that question. First, when you say ecosystem growth, remember, as Matej mentioned earlier, the big shift that we're just making is we're focusing on building privacy as a service type infrastructure, and that's what our ecosystem will be. So we will have products and infrastructure deployed on other chains, like Semi-Liquid was on Avalanche testnet, the Fuji testnet, but we're the sort of technology underneath it, powering it, and that's sort of the direction we're going in terms of ecosystem growth. But in terms of what does Oasis do better? There's a couple different answers, but I think it all starts with one, there's not a lot of TE networks. So what we do better than other TE based networks, which it's like Secret Valley used to have a network but doesn't have it anymore. So what we do better is we're the only EVM network that has TE support for confidential state. We're the only one that has a key management system that's robust and sort of has the ability to be upgraded easily and improved and secure. So I would say, like, compared to other TE-based systems, we're the easiest to use and we're the most secure, the most decentralized, and probably the cheapest and most scalable as well. Then compare it to like other privacy tech solutions, so like ZK, FHE, and MPC. TEs are better than FHE, but like again, I do believe all of these will be used. So, but like in specifically the area that we do better than FHE is that TEs are computationally much faster and computationally much less expensive and also more robust. There's like simply like things that FHE can't do because it's just the tech isn't ready yet, and it probably will be in the next 5 to 10 years. But right now it's not. And so in order to build complex applications or sophisticated applications that incorporate confidentiality, you need TEs. ZK is great for scalability, and it's also great for transactional privacy. So if I want to send you Zcash, or I want to send you like a token privately, that it's really good for. But if you want to start building applications that have larger logic that also need encryption with shared state, so what does that mean? Like building a DEX, like building like a liquidity pool in a DEX where millions of people or hundreds of people are depositing liquidity. ZK doesn't do that very well because it can't basically aggregate all the confidential inputs from all the different people into this is the total liquidity in this pool. And so that's really where Oasis excels over the ZK tech stack, is that we have this encrypted shared state. And that encrypted shared state is also what gives us rise to liquefaction. And that's why Cornell's research, before we even started working with them, was done on Oasis. And it's because we're really the only network that you can do liquefaction on, because we're the only network that has the security guarantees that are necessary, as well as the EVM compatibility, as well as the shared state through the TEs that we offer. So I think, I know it has been hard thus far to maybe see this, because the privacy space wasn't as popular. But I think with privacy now becoming the one of the trending narratives, you will start to see more differentiation. And with liquefaction and some of our other products that we're making, you'll start to see where our tech stack sort of excels and where it can also be improved.
Thank you, Will. A very comprehensive answer. Next one. I mean, we already kind of touched upon this, but Matej, maybe you can take this one. So question is, how does the team plan to offset rose inflation and improve long-term token value alignment for holders? And is this something the community could reasonably propose via governance in the future?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Good question. So yeah, in the current mechanism, we still have the staking rewards that are coming into circulation, right? And the plan is for this to be still happening a few more years. But we'll see. With the change of the approach, right, focusing on kind of bringing this solution cross-chain to the whole crypto ecosystem, there is potential for a proposal, to change the rose inflation dynamics. As I mentioned before, we are looking at ways to kind of generate revenue with the products that we launch, and then through that buy back rose. So yeah, we'll see if there's potential for a change that obviously we're always looking to make changes for the better of rose and rose holders. So with that in mind, we'll also be looking at maybe proposing a change in the inflation here, or just in the staking mechanics. Is it possible for the community to propose this in the current setup? Not sure, because I think we don't have the classic DAO structure. So here proposals go through validators, right? And you delegate to the validators that kind of vote on your behalf. So it's not directly done by the users, but we'll see if there's going to be any change in that aspect as well in the future. I would say I would leave it open. This is something that needs to be thoroughly kind of researched, thought through. Potentially we can give some kind of questions to the community in terms of what they would like to see, and then we take into account the feedback here as well. But yeah, I think it's clear to everybody what the community would like to see from the token perspective, and we do understand that the price action, even though we don't touch on it, we see it, and it's something that we don't actively comment on, because it distracts from the building, right? But I think the general market sentiment is like this, that we can't really help it. They only basically how to fight against it is to build more, build better, and build back. So it reflects in the value of the token as well, right?
I agree, and I know we don't have a structure for this, as you said, but if any people from the community have any proposals in mind for now, you can use the Oasis forum. We do have a proposal section there, forum.oasis.io. So you can leave those proposals there, and we'll take a look.
It's more informal. It's not on chain, but
exactly, it's not on chain, but
we do listen to the community, and the feedback that we're getting through the channels that are available.
Thank you, Matej. And since I have you, maybe you can take this one as well, because you're always pitching this, so I think you have the perfect pitch for it. The question is how to explain the Oasis tech in simple terms.
Yeah. So BD is constantly pitching that. We do a lot of that at hackathons as well. It's basically your plug and play confidential trustless compute, right? So if somebody asks you what Oasis does, is it brings secure execution on chain or off chain to your dApp, wherever your dApp is, right? So I would say if you want to remember one thing is, trustless, verifiable, that's basically the same, but trustless, confidential, compute on-chain or off-chain for any dApp on any chain. So I think this was also our banner at the DevConnect hackathon. Any chain, any app, or something like that, if I remember.
Yeah.
So there's one sentence that people should remember about Oasis, and I think Dominika mentioned this as well. It's that we bring secure, trustless compute to the whole crypto ecosystem.
Cool. That's a great answer, actually. Okay, maybe Tadej can jump on this one. This is regarding validators and the fact that the number just won't reach 120 anymore. And there's a constant decrease in the number of delegates. So what's our plan as a foundation?
Yeah, perhaps I chime in here. Just want to mention that, like, we as a network need to keep a trade-off of speed, decentralization, and security in mind. So that's why we sort of like put the higher bar limit. So if we would have, I don't know, like I think some networks like Solana have like some very big number of validators with Comet BFT that we use. That would mean like the block times would increase. So basically scalability or like performance would decrease if we would allow like too many nodes to participate. That's why we put like a limit of 120 here. But it's just like a parameter. I think we started the network with like 75, then one upgrade allowed 100 because we saw that like basically the network latency and the performance of computers allowed for a bit more nodes to participate. So in a way, I just want to remind the community that we still like are fairly decentralized. Basically, there are like top projects that have a lot less validators. I'll just like name BNB, Tron, Nair. Okay, Nair has like a similar number that we do, but basically it's still a very good number, and it's not like it needs to be full. It's just like a parameter. And I guess like you can answer like perhaps the question on the future of
maybe I can touch on that. So with the change in the approach, right? I mentioned in the answer on the first question, there is potential for change in the whole architecture of Oasis. So right now we have the consensus layer, and then the kind of native layer 2s, Sapphire, Emerald, Cypher, the paradigms, and there is potential, to change that architecture, as we've seen that the majority of the focus is on Sapphire and Ruffle, and to see how this root of trust, where should it sit, right? We are aware of, some of the validators becoming inactive, and we are speaking to them. As they said, it doesn't hinder the decentralization of the network. There's no kind of fear of, the decentralization being gone here, or that there's could be potentially a security breach. There's nothing like that, right? But we're still talking to validators and seeing the reasoning why they're shutting off. Some is related to price. Some are just consolidating their operations due to their kind of resource constraints. So it's a mix, but yeah, we are definitely aware of the whole situation, and we do have plans to kind of mitigate it and have validators participate maybe in a different structure that we'll reveal next year.
Okay, I think this answers. This is a perfect answer. I hope people have a clear understanding on what's about to happen. And exactly, like, we're still a very decentralized network. Just because we have a few less validators doesn't make us less centralized. So we have validators from all over the world. I think that's the most important thing in a proof of stake network. for geographical diversity as well. Thank you, guys. Next question, I'll take this one. Why was the ambassador program paused, and when will it resume, and what's the plan for the program? Okay, so we paused it because, as you can see, we have a shift in direction, and we are working closely with the marketing department. So we paused it because we didn't want to go the old route. Instead, we're focusing on privacy as a service now. On the new products coming in. So we are trying to tailor the ambassador program so we can help marketing and our new direction with this. We are going to have a bit of different structure. It's not finalized yet, but we are going to have less ambassadors in the program. Sign-ups are still open, and we're going to start taking interviews again somewhere in January. But in the future, each ambassador will be responsible for a different section of the program. They'll have clear KPIs. We'll have quarterly OKRs for the program, so things will be even more structured, and this way assuring that we actually help the foundation, and the output is of very high quality content. Yeah, that I hope that answers the question. So it will resume operations in January. I think we kind of touched upon this, but maybe we can answer it in full. One of the questions I see a lot rising in the community, so I'm happy that we can answer it now. Is the bridge issue fixed? There is no liquidity left on Nebi, or more generally on Oasis ecosystem. Will, maybe you can take this one. I know you were in touch with them.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess the bridge issue. I guess I don't know what the specific issue you're talking about is, but right now the only bridge that goes to the network, I think, is the seller bridge, and then also the paymaster that we're building, and then we also have Consero as a messaging bridge. But yes, there's no liquidity on Nebi right now. The reason for that was that router was hacked in, I think, July 3rd. We posted a few announcements about it. Explained the exit plan. So I think there was like 6-month period or 5-month period where you could send to a burn address and then receive your funds back. Basically, Oasis subsidized those losses. The foundation subsidized those losses for people who had their funds stuck in router and lost it due to that hack. We were not the only network affected. It was a few others as well. And it's unfortunate because it was audited 3 times. They were a good protocol. They were a great team to work with, and I think that was sort of the turning point that helped us realize that we needed to focus more on the product side, and focus on the bridgeless solutions for privacy as well. But yeah, I guess if you are still one of these people who have any router tokens, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to a community Discord member or some moderator, and we can try to find a solution for you. But yeah, the focus going forward is adding privacy to other networks and not so much our native ecosystem, and that's why there's no liquidity on Nebi. Hope that answers the question. But if there's follow-up questions, just please reach me on Discord or Telegram. Yeah,
or any of our moderators on Discord, Telegram, even Reddit. Like, we're all over the place always, 24/7. But yeah, some great questions. I hope we answered most of the concerns from the community, except when Lambo, of course, that we can't do. But as Matej said, and I think it's obvious, it's not like we can affect any price action, of course, but we can instead focus on building, and that will follow. We just ask you to be patient with us. As you can see, we are constantly building, constantly delivering. We're constantly talking to cool projects that more and more projects are using our tech stack. So just have a bit more patience, and I think next year will pay off. You'll see much more adoption, much more growth, much more drive when it comes to Oasis. This was the last question from the forum. I mean, there were more questions, but they were basically asking the same thing. I would like to invite the team on stage for a group goodbye. Is everyone here? 9 of us. Okay. 9.
I mean, there's way more people at Oasis, right?
Of course. But anyway, StreamYard can only do 10 at once on screen, so this is us.
Just the
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I think this was a very successful town hall. I think we were able to answer a lot of questions, shed clarity on our new strategy, on our new direction. I think things are very exciting in all departments. I am looking forward to a bit of rest and relaxation for the Christmas holidays. I think we're all burned out at this point, so 2 weeks of recharge I think would be good for us. But yeah, I'll let you guys say a few last words, whatever you want, to the community.
Okay, I'll go now.
Who wants to start?
So if you haven't seen it, like join our let's say a gift to community. So we did like a special thing, like a Christmas raffle. It's like time limited. You have time, I think until Tuesday. Tickets are really cheap, so 250 euros. You can buy up to 10, and of course the pots are great, so you can win up to 500,000 goes. So go to raffle. ROFFLE.oasis.io and yeah, buy your tickets and have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Everyone, bye.
Thanks.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, everyone. Happy holidays.